Americana seems to be on the rise as of recently. One of the big shows that came out, the past couple of years that actually propagated, this like reinvigoration of society to go out and live that sort of like American life was Yellowstone. And I don't know if it was the ranch life, seeing and working with the horses, or the drama of it all. I feel like Yellowstone was a bit of a pinnacle point in where people actually kind of sparked that want to, go out and explore a little bit more of the Americana that is out there. And after Yellowstone ended, I feel like there has been a gap in that sense. And I feel like now, more than ever, we finally have a replacement for that gap in none other than Landman. And right off the bat, I feel like we have to talk about the core member of this story. And I'm not talking about the star of the show, but the person who actually writes and produces these shows, and that's obviously Taylor Sheridan. Taylor Sheridan is not only one of the most recognizable writers as of recently, but I feel like what he has been putting out as of recently is amazing. I feel like as a writer, he is fantastic. He knows how to get down to the nitty-gritty and truly make stories feel real. Sometimes if it's by inserting somebody from a specific industry that's well known, or if it's, allowing actors the breathing room necessary to tell a story, I feel like he knows how to do that. And he did that really well with Yellowstone, and I feel like he continues to do it well here with Landman. And it just adds more and more excitement for me, at least, that knowing he is the guy behind this show, meaning I know that 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, I don't know how many seasons Landman is going to have, but all of those seasons, I know for a fact, are under great hands. So thankfully, Taylor Sheridan is definitely the guy that you want running a show like this. And it also extends to the people who he hires to be on these projects. Now, I say hire, but I feel like obviously there's a team behind it all that's actually, casting and putting all these people together. But I feel like in, the nitty-gritty of it all, he actually has a say as to who he wants on these shows. So ultimately, we have to talk about Billy Bob Thornton, who we haven't seen all that much as of lately, and finally he's making his return to big acting, acting in things that people are super interested in watching, that sort of thing. So seeing him play Tommy in this show is great. He's a smart guy. He's a straight shooter. There's really no BS that comes out of him. And I feel like that is a great type of character that you can have. I mean, obviously, I'm going to draw comparisons throughout this entire video, but obviously, if we were comparing it to Yellowstone, yeah, you can definitely see a little bit of John Dutton in him. You can definitely see a bit of that, gruff look. I feel like he's more comedic than John Dutton. John Dutton was more of like a serious, character that, obviously loved his family the same way that Tommy does. But you can definitely see that connection there. He's Tommy is more of a comedic type person. He'll just throw something out there completely random, and it's completely funny. And I love that Billy Bob Thornton is the guy who's actually leading this show. And he does a great job here. And then we have to talk about Ali Larter as well. She playing his ex-wife, Angela. I just love that she is very kooky and very crazy and very erratic. And obviously, I can't draw a comparison to her character in, say, Yellowstone, because if you're going to say that she's kind of like Beth, you're way off there. Because Beth has crazy moments, but she is very calculated. Beth is a very calculated and smart character, and she's willing to do anything to get through to somebody. So I feel like you can't really compare Angela to Beth, because if we were gonna compare the two, Angela has all the bad qualities that Beth has. She has all the bad qualities. And then some. So I feel like Angela is very much a sort of like, erratic drama queen type character. But I feel like there are moments where, Ali Larter plays this character with a lot of heart. Ali actually goes in and actually says, okay, Angela now has to go in and tackle a more serious scene. And honestly, it's sort of a yin-yang situation here, Tommy and Angela. Tommy is more of like the serious, man who actually wants to get things done, and then she's more of the unserious, kind of flamboyant, open, kind of, let's make everything an event type person. So I feel like both of them play well with each other, in that sense, and the loving moments that they share as well. So Ali Larter plays, Angela with flying colors. Then we have Michelle Randolph playing Ainsley, who, again, kind of stems from her mother in that sort of way. Ainsley is a bit aloof in a way, but I feel like at some point, we need to see Ainsley like completely shift as a character. Like if she's gonna be the same like sort of like preppy, cheerleader schoolgirl the entire season, I feel like it's gonna drag on. I want to see an evolution in that character. I want to see, like, for example, at some point, Ainsley like go out and work on one of the rigs. Like that would be so out there, but I would love to see that, and see her kind of like build some sort of work ethic. That would be so cool. Like ultimately, like it would build so much character in her to the point where you start to see a completely different side to Ainsley. Like you're never going to see her as this preppy schoolgirl. Now you're going to see her with like, getting her hands dirty and doing crazy stuff. So, and ultimately that's going to play well when, she meets with her brother and that sort of thing. But I really hope that they go in that direction with this show. And playing her brother, we have Jacob Lofland, who does a great job as well on this show, playing the brother, straight shooter. He's a very smart character. Like Jacob Lofland actually plays Cooper really well because he's a really smart guy. Like he's nothing like his sister. He's, yeah, sure, whatever. Like he just a straight shooter. There's not a lot of emotion in him, but the emotion that is there ultimately pays off because of ultimately the love connection that he builds. So again, Cooper Norris as a character is great, and Jacob Lofland does an excellent job. And speaking of Cooper's love, we have Ariana, which is played by Paulina Chavez, who is great as well. Strong character. We definitely need more characters like her. I want her to, at some point, interact with Ainsley. I would love to see Ariana and Ainsley at some point interact with each other. Ainsley is gonna give, Ariana a little bit more room for her to be playful, while Ariana is gonna teach Ainsley to be a little bit more work-oriented. I feel like that would be a pairing made in heaven to actually grow these two characters almost simultaneously. So, again, back to Paulina Chavez. I think she does a great job here, and I cannot wait to see her in season 3. Now, someone who I was not familiar with their work, and I actually really love them in this show. I love this woman on the show. It's Kayla Wallace. She's great on this show as the lawyer. She's a straight shooter, no BS, and I feel like in the first season, she was very much like straight shooter, no emotion, I'm gonna destroy you. And then the second season, you still see that, but I feel like they added a certain layer of emotion to her. I feel like she didn't feel flat, like she's like the one note, like I am the immovable object in your unstoppable force, like that sort of character. And I feel like she plays it really well here. She's great. She's absolutely great here, and I just want to see more of her in season 3. Now, obviously, if we were to go back to season 1 and talk about Jon Hamm, I feel like Jon Hamm did great in that season as well. I mean, there's no real qualms there. He played the executive the way it needed to be, but I feel like Jon Hamm was there just to play as like a pawn in the story, because if we know anything about Taylor Sheridan, he aligns people. He puts people in certain positions that he knows that at some point in the story, it's going to flip. And that happened in this show when Jon Hamm is now no longer on the show, and they put Demi Moore in that spot. And I feel like she does it great. She does it great. I feel like I'm going to say everybody in the show is a straight shooter, but then again, it's Texas, so you expect that. But I think she does great here. I mean, come on. Oscar-nominated actress Demi Moore is on this show. Okay, just pointing that out here. You know, I'm pretty sure Billy Bob Thornton has an Oscar too. So don't get me wrong, but still, Demi Moore is on the show. So I mean, what else can I say? She's awesome on this show. And again, can't wait to see season 3. And who am I to forget that we have someone on this show that I truly did not expect to see pop up? And that's Andy Garcia. Andy Garcia on this show as this sort of mob boss, which obviously that is sort of what he's playing. And he says he's not really that sort of thing. He doesn't deal in drugs or anything, but I mean, we kind of know that that's kind of where the money's coming from. And, you know, having Tommy have to go through this sort of like conundrum, like trying to convince, you know, Cammy that he does not want to deal with this guy because he deals in drugs and that sort of thing. And then ultimately having to deal with him later on and have him as a partner. It's a crazy, crazy wild ride. But I feel like Andy Garcia does such a great job playing that sort of sleazy guy that honestly impresses me a lot. He's just great here. He's just absolutely great. Just so much fun to see him play around and be a little bit more mischievous. And he just has so much charm that it's impossible to not like him. So huge props to Andy Garcia and being in this show and just having that interaction with Tommy and finding out later that he built this character from the ground up, you know, and I absolutely love that. And a quick little shout out to the old man himself, Sam Elliott. Great on this show, absolutely great. No qualms, nothing else to say. He's just great. And like with every single show that Taylor Sheridan does, there's a lot of things that we have to think about. You know, cinematography, absolutely stunning. Incredible drone shots, incredible, you know, cinematography that is put on screen. I really can't find a lot of bad things to say about the cinematography of any of Taylor Sheridan's shows because he knows exactly who he's putting on these jobs to do this work. So, again, cinematography, top notch. Another thing as well that we got to consider is also music. Music is a big part on this show, even though there's no musicians on the show. There's definitely a lot of great music that they use for the soundtrack that kind of help the story go along, and obviously they have a nice score that is playing sometimes. In certain scenes, they have a nice score that plays in the background, which I absolutely love. And also the intro music. I mean, it's not as dramatic as, you know, Yellowstone's. It's more like an upbeat kind of uplifting kind of song, so that's cool. And when it comes to like prop-based music, I mean, come on. The ringtone that Tommy has for Angela on his phone, dun 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 dun, like that is brilliant, absolutely brilliant. So big props to the music side of this show. And obviously, the third big thing that I feel like I have to talk about is also the writing, or the flexibility in the writing that they have here. Because last I heard, there is a lot of flexibility that Taylor Sheridan allows actors to have on his shows. So you have natural reactions and natural moments. And I just love sitting back and watching these characters interact with each other. You know, whether it's a fight between Tommy and Angela, whether it's, you know, seeing Ainsley kind of like have a sort of a fit and run off, or having her like try to figure things out as she goes along, or, you know, the reactions, the genuine reactions you get from actors in certain moments that feel real, that was ultimately either written or given the option by Taylor Sheridan to be a little bit more flexible and work on those things. I love that. I love when shows and movies allow actors to do their job, even if it means breaking away a little bit from the script. So for me, awesome job. And let's talk about the end of season 2. The fact that now Tommy is going to start his own oil company. Like, how season 2 ends is phenomenal, because it's like starting from scratch. And I feel like, obviously, you know, if we know anything about Taylor Sheridan, he already has all the cards laid out. He knows exactly what he's going to play and how he's going to play it. And he's doing it great here. He's doing a great job at playing the cards right for these characters to flourish. And man, it's going to be a wild ride, and I'm very excited to see what they do for season 3, because this is one of those shows that I know for a fact will keep on going and going and going. And, you know, we'll probably have like 10 or 12 seasons of this show, and it's going to be amazing. And like I say in every single one of my videos, these are my thoughts, my opinions, my views on shows and movies, or in this case, an incredible TV show. I honestly am having a blast watching this show. You know, having watched both seasons makes me excited to see where these characters go. And truly, it is definitely the return of sort of like a normal type of show that you would see Taylor Sheridan, you know, produce. What I'm waiting for, and I don't know if he's making this or not, but I am just waiting for Taylor Sheridan to make a show about truckers. Like, I can just already picture it in my brain. A show about truck drivers in America. And that would be a Taylor Sheridan show. I just know it. I know it. Write it down somewhere. I feel like that would be his next move. Like, let's make a show. Let's call it Wheels or something like that. Just call it Wheels or 18 Wheels or something like that. Like, that is the type of thing I expect from Taylor Sheridan coming in the near future. So let's see. Fingers crossed. But having said that, I want to hear from you. What do you guys think? Did you watch Landman? Are you going to watch Landman? Do you have any interest in any other Taylor Sheridan property? Please put it down below. I want to talk to you at least and see what you guys think. And while you're down there, hit the subscribe button and hit the bell to be notified when new videos go live on this channel. And thank you so much for watching this video. And I will see you in the next video.
Scrolling through YouTube, same old routine, then bam, movie savant, what a scene. Trivia bombshells dropping knowledge like rain. Forget the dishes, gotta watch it again. Movie buffs unite, savants to place. Subscribe and hit the bell, don't leave a trace. Next level knowledge keeps you in the loop. Savants got the scoop, ain't nothing to recoup.